Hey, welcome. My name is Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I wanted to do like a get ready with me / review on some Glossier products. So over the Black Friday weekend, I bought a bunch of stuff on Glossier during my no-buy. Whoops. I've been using it and I have some thoughts, so I thought I would share them with you in the form of getting ready because it's fun. So let's jump in. The first step I need to do is apply this bubble wrap eye and lip plumping cream. So this is really cool. I've been really enjoying this. And I use this as my first step of skincare. I normally just use it in the morning. I try to use it at night, but I usually forget. You're supposed to just put a little bit under your eyes like you would with an under eye cream. And you can also use it on your lips. I don't mind it on my lips, but I definitely prefer just using it as an eye cream. I feel like on my lips, it's just weird to put a creamy consistency on it because it's like a lotion and it just feels kind of weird, and so I usually don't do it. When I first got it, I was doing it. I mean, I guess it made my lips look a little bit fuller, not plumping, but just more I didn't notice as many lines and little texture on my lips, and that's essentially what it does for my eyes too. I've definitely noticed a big difference as far as just kind of helping with some little fine lines on my eyes. I mean, it's not going to do anything major smile lines or anything, but it does help with just the little tiny lines that I get under my eyes here, especially during the day wearing makeup, and it helps to kind of fill those in a little bit. I don't have a moisturizer from Glossier, so I'm just using the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Pink Juice Moisturizer. Got this in BoxyCharm last month and have been really enjoying it. It's a nice lightweight moisturizer. My skin is really dry right now. I also started using my retinol serum at night again. I'm also trying a new face wash from my BoxyCharm this month. It's the Tula acne foaming cleanser, and I think that's what's really making my skin dry. And so I haven't used that the last 2 nights because it really dried me out. And I have pretty oily skin, so for me to get dry doesn't happen often. Something I will note with that Glossier bubble wrap, I have noticed, I feel like it, if I get it, usually with eye creams, I'll put it underneath my eyes and then just kind of up on my eye, brow bone, not on my eyelids because I get pretty oily there, but just on my brow bone. Sorry, I'm a little sick and things are sounding weird. I don't know if it's this or something else that I'm using, but I have been getting really dry on my eyebrows around the time that I started using this, so I'm not sure if it's that or something else. I don't know, or maybe it's just that time of year, and so it's been a little weird up here. I've been drinking this iced tea. Got it at Trader Joe's, but they have it at other places, but it's the Tejava or something. Tejava. Oh, it's so good. It's just a black iced tea. It's not sweetened. There's no flavor in it. I had never tried it, and I opened it up yesterday, and I'm drinking the entire bottle, and it's the next morning. I also don't have a primer from Glossier. The one I'm going to be using is a new one to me. I've been trying. It's the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer, and this is the blurring primer. I got this from Influencer. I got this and the hydrating one. I've been really liking these, but this one is more of a blurring, also mattifying primer, and so the products I'm using from Glossier today for the rest of my face are very hydrating, and so I want to kind of balance that out a little bit, make sure I'm not getting too oily. Also, don't look behind me on my vanity. I don't think you can really see too much, but it is a disaster zone back there. I'm filming a Shop My Stash after this, and it has been needed for so long. I feel between the 2 months of BoxyCharm, December and January, of getting 2 boxes, which I'm not doing anymore, My makeup and like skincare is just out of control right now and I need to stop it. And so I'm doing a Shop My Stash because I really want to like focus in on the product I'm using because it's a mess. So for foundation, I'm going to be using the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint, and I have this in the shade G11, which I believe is either the lightest shade or the second lightest shade. I don't totally remember. I wasn't quite sure what to think about this foundation. I feel like I've heard so many mixed reviews. People either like love it or hate it, and I feel like that's kind of typical of Glossier in general. People either love their products because they're easy or like simple, there's not really much to them, or they hate them because they're looking for something like more coverage, more glitter, more shine, more anything, you know? So I wasn't quite sure what to expect from this. And I like it-ish. It's like a very particular look. If I was doing like the other day I wore it with the concealer, which I'll be using next, and then I did like a full-on like eye look and it felt a little out of place, but also I kind of liked it. It gives your skin, like I wouldn't even say coverage, I would say it just makes it look a little bit tinted, like, and that's what it says it is. It says it's a skin tint, and so that makes sense because it doesn't look like foundation, it just looks like it's evening out color on your skin a little bit. So the way I found to use this best is just with my fingers. I've used it with a brush, I've used it with like a sponge, and I've used it with my fingers, and I feel like I get the most bang from a buck with my fingers. I'll have to go over pricing on this stuff because I don't really remember how much it is, so at the end I'll talk about that. But I know I got the foundation or the skin tint and the concealer in a bundle. So I saved a little on that, and I've got like a streak of light hitting me in the face. But I don't use much of this. I just less than pea-size amount for like half my face. And so you can see it didn't really do much as far as coverage. It just kind of like evened out the tone of my skin. So this is how much I'll use. Don't look at my face, look at the foundation. Not a ton, and it's very liquidy, like it's definitely got some watery consistency to it. I feel like it does well with this primer. I've used it with a few other primers. I also like it with the Touch in Sol No Problem primer. That one does really well as well. This one, I feel like the Laura Mercier primer just like really helps get like texture out of the way a little bit, and so this lays on top really well. If I did not use a good primer with it, it definitely like sinks into my pores in weird areas and just looks not super attractive on my skin. But again, because it is so light, it's not like it's super offensive either. Another nice thing with this skin tint is that because it is really watery, it doesn't dry down fast. So like if you did want to go in with a brush, you could kind of like spot it around your face and then come back to it, and it's not gonna like dry down super fast, so you've got some time to work with it. So that's with one layer of the skin tint on my skin. I think it does look really fresh, and like it doesn't look like I have foundation on, but it looks a little bit perfected, like just a touch helpful. Like I was like red in some areas before, and I feel like it helped to take that away. It definitely doesn't cover like acne spots or like pimples or anything, but that's where this comes into play. This is honestly one of my favorite Glossier products. I have had this in the past. This is the Glossier Stretch Concealer, and I have this one in the shade G11 as well. When I had the concealer before, it didn't have like a bunch of different shades. Now they have a much bigger shade range, which is nice. But when I had it originally, I think I just had it in the shade like light or something, and they only had like 4 shades. Now they have, I mean, I don't remember exactly, maybe like 12 to 15. For the concealer, I like to go in with a brush. This is a brush I got a long time ago in Ipsy or something. It's from Estetica. Don't know what kind of brush it is, but it's just like a little tiny tapered brush kind of. And I usually just go under my eyes a little bit, around my nose, and then like any spots I'm wanting to cover. This actually has really nice coverage. I use this with other foundations as well, not just like this Glossier one. It wears really well under powder foundation, or if you just want to like go in with this concealer and then finish it off with some powder, it does great for that. It's just overall like a really great concealer. It looks great on the skin. It doesn't look like there's too much coverage, but it does provide quite a bit of coverage. It just looks really nice and natural on the skin, and it wears really well as well. I was not expecting that originally. I thought this was gonna like wear off super fast, but it does wear really well, especially if you set it, which, I mean, I've never not set it because I have oily skin. I could see if you used this concealer the way that I do, and you're using it kind of all over to cover spots and redness, and it was your only concealer, you might go through this pretty dang quick. I don't use it every day. I use it like twice a week, and I've made a pretty substantial dip in it already. The last time I had this, I used it again, not like all the time, but maybe like once or twice a week, and it lasted me just about a year, which I feel like is really long, but I feel like I went through a period of time where I kind of forgot about it, or like didn't want to use it because I didn't want to run out of it. But I feel like if you used it consistently, you might fly through this stuff real fast. Now I'm just taking, like, this is a Luxie brush. This is the small contouring brush, but I love this for concealer. I love it for liquid foundation actually too, but I love it to blend out concealer. It just works really well. I woke up this morning and had a pimple like on my Cupid's bow. And I was like, rude. So that's with like one side blended out. I feel like it adds a really nice amount of coverage without looking too foundation-y or like concealer-y. Those aren't words, but whatever. I'm just taking the excess and kind of running it down my neck because it is a little bit of like a different color than my skin. Not too off though, it's just a touch different. And my neck is like super white and like blue almost, where the rest of my skin is not that color. So we're nice and blended. I'm gonna try and do like a little bit of a close-up. My lens doesn't have a zoom on it, so I'm just gonna get really close to the camera. I feel like the one area that I wish it did a little bit more covering was, I don't always get like dark circles, but sometimes I do get a little bit of darkness like in the inner corner of my eye, and so I wish it did a little bit better of like covering that. But this isn't the brush I was using. But other than that, I think it looks really good. And I could see, like, I feel like I've heard a lot of people with dry skin say that they like this, and it's interesting because right now I have dry patches on my nose, a little bit on my forehead, and like around my mouth, like I said earlier, and I feel like it's really clinging in those areas. And so I don't know, maybe dry skin, everything clings, and this is like not as bad as other things, but I would not like this if this was like my regular life. But on the flip side, I get very oily throughout the day, so I guess there's some give and take. To set all of this, I'm going to go in with my Glossier Wowder Powder. This is another one of my favorites from Glossier. I didn't repurchase this this last time. I've only purchased from Glossier twice, and this is from the first time, and I'm honestly surprised at how much I still have left. I bought this like almost 2 years ago, and I use it a few times a week, and I've still got a little bit left, and so I'm happy I still have it. But I just use a little bit and kind of set everywhere. I feel like it does help a little bit with like a little bit more coverage as well, Just adds like a little bit of tint. And again, this powder, I don't know if they have it in other colors now. I have it in the shade light medium, I think. Yeah, and so I don't know if they do other colors now. I know when I got mine, I think they just had light medium and medium deep or something. But it is pretty translucent. It doesn't have a ton of coverage or color. But it is a great powder. It looks so good on the skin. It just adds like a little bit of setting power without making your skin look matte or like fake. It just looks really nice and natural, and that's like my favorite look with powders. I want it to look like skin. I mean, that's foundation and like makeup in general. I want you to see my skin. Like, I don't want to cover everything up. I want my skin to not look perfect. Is that a weird thing? I don't want my skin to look like the most perfect thing on earth, because it's not. I'm a human. No one's skin looks extremely perfect, although I do know a few people who it's pretty dang close. But that's it for the base. I am gonna go in with bronzer. I don't have a bronzer from Glossier. Although this cloud paint I'm gonna use, this is in the shade Dusk. This almost could be like a bronzer color. It's a little pink, but like honestly, I don't really mind it. But I'm just using, this is the Wander Beauty Trip for Two. I got this in BoxyCharm this month. So I'm just using the bronzer in here. It's a nice light color. I'm still kind of figuring out my thoughts on it, but I'll use that today. So for blush, I am going to use the Glossier Cloud Paint. Again, it's in the shade Dusk. I still haven't found like the most perfect way to apply this, so if you have any tips, let me know. I haven't tried it with my fingers, but I feel a little bit afraid. But I usually use like a small condensed brush like this. This is from BoxyCharm. Today I'm going to do it a little bit different. Normally I put a little bit on my hand and then like tap it on my cheek. I'm just going to go on the top here. There is quite a bit of product, so I'm just going to tap into that with the brush. I do know a little goes a very long way, especially this is probably one of the darker shades, but I just loved the tone of it. And I just kind of like blend it onto my cheek. It's a very like nude colored blush. It's got some pink in it, but it is like kind of a brownie toned, and it just looks so good on the skin. Get out of here, hair. I always stamp a little bit on my brow bone because I feel like it just brings some like height and like lifts my face a little bit. I love it. And it looks a little sun-kissed, which you can always use at this time of year in Minnesota, even if it's fake. The other day I wore this and I applied way too much on my cheeks. I used my fingers to like put it onto my cheeks and then blended it out, and it was like, my blush was like half of my face. It went down to like here and was just like giant. I tried to take powder over it and it was just, there wasn't much saving it. So I had a lot of blush on that day, but whatever. So I just kind of like tap it in until I feel like it looks blended enough. But I feel like it just brings like this nice like flush look to my skin, especially again in the winter. I am quite white right now, and so I feel like it just brings this like almost like frosted look to the face, and I love it. I think that's really pretty. For highlight today, I'm going to be using this one that I was trying to finish up last year in my project pan. This is from Urban Decay. It's the Sin highlight. I did hit major pan on this, so I'm pretty proud. But it's a really great highlight, perfect everyday highlight. Great for my skin tone. I think I mentioned this semi-recently, but my eye looks have either been like nothing or like a full-on eye look. I want like glitter and like lots of colors. And today I think I'm gonna go for a simple look. So I want to try using the cloud paint on my lid. Is that weird? But while we're here with the highlight, I am gonna highlight my brow bone and kind of try to get my inner corner with this giant brush, but whatever. I've got a few brushes that I think might help assist with this process. One is from Luxie, this one is from Moda, but they're both synthetic brushes and kind of dense and small. I'm going to use this Moda one to apply it onto my lids, and then use the other one to kind of like blend it out a little bit. I'm definitely into a monochromatic look, so I feel like this could be a really pretty option as like a blush eye. You could even probably put this on the cheek, but I have another Glossier lip product that is a pretty dang similar color to this. It's definitely not super opaque, and it's probably not going to build up in color, would be my guess. So I'm just going to do like a little wash of color and just kind of blend it into my crease as well. I'm going to take that Luxie more crease brush and just kind of like hit the edges with that. I'm also going to take a little bit on the lower lash line because I feel like if I don't have anything on my lower lash line, it just looks weird. The last new Glossier product I'm going to be trying out is the Glossier Lash Slick. This came in a bundle with the bubble wrap. I don't remember how much it is. Again, I'll get into that in a little bit. But so far, I've been really enjoying this lash mascara. Just mascara, I guess. Been trying to get back in the habit of curling my lashes, so I'm gonna do that real quick. I do really enjoy the wand on this. I typically like small brushes like this, but I usually like a more natural brush. This one is like a plastic wand. But I like smaller ones. I feel like it just makes it easier to apply. I don't get it everywhere, even though I just got it all over my eyelid. So ignore the mascara on my lids, but this is one coat. I'm going to go in with a second coat, obviously. I do feel like this mascara layers really well. Definitely, I feel like the first coat adds a lot of length, and the second coat is really where you can kind of build up the volume more. But it's honestly not like the most voluminous mascara. Like, it doesn't add like a ton of volume, I feel like. But I feel like it just makes your lashes look kind of more fluttery, and I think it looks really good. I am going to finish off with some brows. I don't have any brow products from Glossier right now. I have used the Boy Brow, and that was honestly one of my favorite products from Glossier the first time I tried the brand. I didn't repurchase it because I have a few other brow products that I really enjoy / like was trying to get through, so I didn't repurchase that one. But I am kind of curious to see if I would feel the same way about it now that I've tried like a few other products that are pretty similar in formula. I don't know. Brow pencil today, this is from BoxyCharm this month. It's the Billion Dollar Brows Universal Pencil or something. Universal Brow Pencil. It's fine. I am still figuring it out. It's kind of dark, so I have to be a little careful with it. And then for my brow gel, I'm just using the clear brow gel from Billion Dollar Brows as well. I guess a few other steps I forgot about. Lip. When I do my makeup in real life, I honestly don't ever put on lip products because I'm like, oh, I'll just do it later, and then I reach for like the same exact lip gloss every other day, so oops. But I am using the Glossier Generation G matte lipstick, and this is in the shade Cake. I've had this since my last Glossier purchase, and it's beautiful. I love this formula. I know they have repackaged them, and I think they might have reformulated them a little bit. I think they're a little bit more pigmented now. But I love this. Like, I know it's not pigmented and I have to go on with like a few layers, but it honestly feels like nothing on your lips. It doesn't even feel like a lip balm. It just feels like nothing. It looks so effortless, and like you've been wearing lipstick all day and you just kind of like have a little bit left on your lips, but it still looks like in the lines. I really like it. I think it's great. And then to set everything, I am going to use a matte setting spray. This is the Wet n Wild Matte Finish Setting Spray. I don't particularly like this. I no longer buy Wet n Wild stuff. But it's the only matte setting spray I have right now, I think. Or it's the one that's on top of my vanity, so I'm reaching for it. Oh, that spray is obnoxious. But since everything is so glowy, and it just got in my eye, I'm trying to elongate my wear time a little bit. But that is the finished look with all the Glossier products. I think it looks really good. It looks really fresh and natural and just like a nice glow, but not too over the top. So now I do want to go over all of the products really quick, go over some prices and like maybe some quick pros and cons. Oh my goodness, I just saw. So I love the Glossier sets. I feel like they're a really good bang for your buck. And they just have a new one. And I want it so bad. It's the You perfume. I've been to, I don't know how many Glossier stores there are, but I've been to the one in New York, and I want there to be a Glossier store like in my mall I want to go, or like in my city, I don't know. And I tried the Glossier You perfume, and I wasn't too sure about it because I was thinking of buying like the little solid one, but I tried it and I like rubbed it on and I was like, I don't know. And then like later in the day I was like, this is so good, it smells so awesome. But it has the Glossier You perfume and the brush point liquid eyeliner and the lip gloss for $75, which the perfume on its own is $60. It says it's a $90 value, so you're saving $15. So essentially you're getting like the lip gloss for free or something. I want that so bad. Anyways, let's talk about the products that I just recently got. Let's start with this little set, the Bubble Wrap and the Lash Slick Mascara. I don't know if they have this combo, honestly. Oh yeah, they do. It's $34 for this combo, which it says it's a $42 value, so you're saving $9. Looking back, at the time I needed an eye cream, so that was kind of what drew me to this. $34 I feel like is a little much for these two products. I think the mascara is good, but I don't think it's any better than like some drugstore mascaras. Pros of it, I think it does build up really well. It looks really nice on the lashes, but a con would be that you have to really spend some time and build it up. I put on like 3 coats today, and so I think it looks good, but it takes a long time to really get in there, and I feel like you have to keep going back into the product so many times. It just like, I don't know if it doesn't hold a lot on the wand or what, but I feel like it's like I put a little bit on and I'm like, okay, gotta get more, and like put more on, more, and that's like 1 coat. So I feel like it's good. I don't think it's worth that amount of money though. The Bubble Wrap, I do think it's nice. I like it for an eye cream. On the lips, I think it works good. It's just like a weird thing for me to put on like a cream on my lips, and so I can't get into it for a lip thing, but for eyes I do really like it. I also bought these as a set. I feel like it might have even come with the blush. Let me look. I must not have got all 3 of those as a set. That doesn't look like it was a set. But the set of the skin tint and the stretch concealer is a $36 bundle. It is a $44 value, so you save like $8. I would repurchase this over and over. I like how this looks on my skin. I honestly don't know if I would repurchase this though, just because I feel like it's such an in-between product. Like if I wanted something that doesn't really look like foundation but has like a little bit of coverage, I would just go with like a BB cream or something. But if I wanted to not wear foundation, I just wouldn't wear this in general. I feel like it's fine. I don't know. I'll use this. I just don't think I'll repurchase it. I cannot get rid of this like fuzz that's on my face, and I can't find it. I don't see it anywhere. But it's driving me nuts. The Cloud Paint, I must have bought this individually. This is $18. I do really enjoy this. This will literally last me until like the end of time. I just used like the tiniest amount, and like it looks like I have quite a bit of blush on, but I used the tiniest amount, and there is 10 milliliters in here. This is going to last so long. I think that was everything, right? The other Glossier products were stuff I already had. I think the standout products for me this go round are honestly, I think that eye cream is really great, and then I really enjoy the cloud paint. I've been a fan of the stretch concealer for a long time. I think it's fantastic. I do enjoy the mascara, but again, it's kind of one of those things that I don't feel like it should be that much money. I would honestly just rather buy a drugstore mascara, so I could kind of take or leave that one. And then the skin tint, while I will use it, I just don't think I will repurchase it or like have too much of a need for it in my life. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. I think that was everything. I feel like when I purchased this, it seemed like so much more things because I bought sets, and then I also had like a $20 off credit, and they were doing 20% off, and so I spent like $57 or something, and it felt like I got so much makeup. And then like as I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, it was really like 5 things. So not a ton, but I honestly don't normally buy makeup in like multiples of the same brand. I'll usually buy like one thing or something. So those are kind of like my thoughts on the products that I got. I love Glossier, honestly. Like when I went into the Glossier store in New York, I just about had a heart attack and wanted to buy everything, but it was in the middle of my no buy, and I was like, I'm not doing it, I'm not buying things. And then I got home and bought all of this, so whoops. So I think that's everything. If you have any standout products from Glossier that you love, I would love to hear about them down below. I've tried a few other products. Like, I don't really like their skincare, or at least this didn't work for me. This is the Solution Skin Perfector. I don't have good luck with that. I feel like it breaks me out. And I've heard a few other people who have similar skin to me say that they don't do Glossier skincare. If you have any makeup favorites that you like, let me know. I am interested in the lip glosses. I think those look great. The new Generation G lipsticks do intrigue me. I bought one for my friend and she really likes it. And the whole new Glossier Play line I think is really fun as well. It's a little bit more like colorful makeup. So if you have any favorites, leave them down below. I would love to hear about them. But thanks for sitting out this video, and it was a long one. I just wanted to share some thoughts on like the new stuff I've been trying, because I've been enjoying it, and I think Glossier is like one of those brands. It's kind of like the mid-tier range in price. It's not super expensive, but it's also not like drugstore prices, but it's kind of like a moderate price range, and so I feel like their products are typically worth the money. But I mean, everyone's tastes are different, so I thought I would just get my thoughts out there. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would love to have you around. And until next time, bye guys.